I mean, the main general principle of it is it's a gathering of people who like to write, but don't necessarily want to deal with outside of their, creative writing classes, and like you get a grade and like you have to turn things in on time. Like, this is the chill, relaxed version of just, people who like to write get to hang out. If we get sidetracked, we can get sidetracked. If we don't get sidetracked, we'll write awesome things. Frankly, we'll write awesome things no matter which way you cut it, even if we do get sidetracked. Act 1. Abby. That dress makes you look stupid. Abigail. No, it doesn't. No, it really doesn't. Are you sure? Wait, no, it can't. Isn't it pretty? Hannah said it was pretty. Abby. You look stupid.
The Creative Writing Club is under the English Undergraduate Association. Like its name says, we are a club dedicated to, helping people express themselves through their writing. Writing workshop. So we will think of a prompt and we will take maybe 10, 20 minutes to, give people time to write about that prompt, and then we will, share them around with the group. If someone doesn't feel like sharing, we do not force them, but we try and remind them that this is a place where they can be free to express themselves. So I guess the opposite school would be, well, he could just get in without having to pay for it. Everyone is an idiot compared to him. So that's all right. Michelangelo walked through the dirty hallways. Trash was thrown everywhere. Children out of class after the bell had already rung. He kept his hand on the locker, ensuring that he wouldn't get swept up in the chaos. His walking stick in his other hand, trying to guide him safely through the halls. Someone bigger than him, he knew from how hard they pushed him, knocked him into the locker. Hey, watch where you're going. Michelangelo just looked in his direction. I would if I could. Now please move out of my way. The person didn't, pushing Michelangelo back into the locker. I don't think
we do writing activities. We talk about just writing in general. It's a good place to, meet and talk to other writers. So, if you like creative writing, if you like writing stories, poetry, plays, whatever, really, this is a good place not just to get some practice, because we try and have prompts that help you work on things that you might want to work on, but it's also a lot of fun, and it's a good place to meet other writers. So yeah, I would.
I walk out of McKeldin Library and look around. It's midday. There's a few people around, but most people would be in class or somewhere that isn't out here. It's not exactly the most seasonable of weather. I stuff my hands in my jacket and start walking back to Ellicott, where I live, until I notice that someone is walking behind me. Normally I wouldn't check for these things, I'm not exactly paranoid, but their footsteps are extremely loud. It's like someone smashing a hammer against the ground with every step. And it doesn't seem like they're stepping very hard either. I turn around to find that a 9-foot-tall Victorian gentleman is tailing me. His skin is murky. No, his skin is pale like baby powder. He is wearing a tall black top hat, a green vest, and slacks and dress shoes. And in his hand is a cane that's as long as I am tall. At first I think that I'm hallucinating. I rub my eyes, but he's still there. He's still walking behind me. I have to stop. What else can I do? I'm either insane or I'm seeing something incredible. Hello? I ask. Good day to you, he replies in a thick English accent. My name is John. How are you today? And I say, well, I'm fine. How are you? And he says, I'm doing very well, but I'm afraid that I must kill you now.
The Creative Writing Club is a club to give inspiration and to meet other interesting creative people. We're very fun, very casual, and we mostly inspire each other. We write a prompt each week, and usually inspired by a silly conversation we've had. or some element of writing that we would like to improve upon, like characterization or dialogue or setting. And then the ravens were forming strange patterns overhead, foreboding a sense that this was the end. Across the land, he only knew of all the death around. The numbers of casualties were so great that it was not merely a large number, as he was a king who was close to his people, but a single death, a single death of someone close to you, and a death of an amazing friend multiplied 100-fold.
The raven ruffled its feathers in a way that seems to taunt its opponent. Poe steadied himself. He was not a fan, neither an expert in the art of combat, but he knew what had to be done when it had to be done. Poe sighed deeply and stood in the best fighting stance he could, staring deeply into the raven's dark eyes. The raven looked like it had the same ideas as him, and began to ruffle its feathers in a more violent and belligerent manner. Its claws, sharp and pointy, scratched the ground in anticipation of the blood of its victim. And Poe smiled.
Honestly, for me, it's because I'm a word addict. Like, I am just completely addicted to words. All the classes I ever take somehow have something to do with words. Not all of them, that's an exaggeration. Most of them. I like the way that words are put together. I like the way the words come together. I like stories. I love stories. I've been brought up on stories. Most people have been brought up on stories. And writing is just kind of a way to give back to that.
Well, just when I was little, I loved reading, stories, and, I felt when I read, I just really got into them, and they made me happy when I saw the character who I liked, winning, and when the character was sad, I was sad, etc., etc. So I wanted to write to try and give someone else that feeling. So
personally, I write because I just think of stories. Like, I have certain ideas based upon, like, experiences or, I don't know, if I find a concept that I think is really cool, a lot of times it's history, especially, that, like, I'm a government and politics major, so a lot of the historical stuff really interests me, that, like, all of these really interesting events happened, and I just start thinking about what it would be like to be someone in that position and all of the drama that goes on. So I just have stories and I need to express them because I think they're really cool.
I guess language is a very interesting way to communicate. When you read something, it's very different from drawing or seeing something visual. There's a very specific way that language can be a tool to express emotion, and a way that's very based on skill, based on innovation. There are a lot of dead metaphors out there. For instance, someone who can use metaphors in an original and inspiring way can really get the point across really well.
I personally like writing because I think that everybody has stories inside of them, and I have a lot of them, so I like to put them on paper and get that and work on. And it's also, I really enjoy watching myself improve, watching my writing get better the more I work on it. And the other thing I like about writing is that it's so universal, like that everybody, pretty much anybody, can write at least a little bit.